Right, I'm thrilled to bring in Oregon linebacker Jeffrey Bassa today during the Ducks' first round bye in the college football playoff. Jeff, I know you guys treat these things, you don't treat them like bye weeks. This is a work week for you guys. So thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah, of course, no problem, man.
Let's start with this week. Has there ever been a time in your career where you've had 3 weeks to prepare for a game in the middle of a season? I mean, it's not like this is a bowl game where you just got one game left. You guys could play as many as three more games. Has this ever happened to you before? Have you ever experienced anything like this?
No, it hasn't happened to me before. I think it's very special with how college football is, starting to form into nowadays. With given the number one seed, some of the top teams in the rankings, right? More time to prepare for, you know, teams they might have not seen throughout the season, or teams in a whole different conference, and that could be having, or that could be running a whole different offense, defense, and special team type of scheme or plan, right? So, and I think it also gives us time to get in shape again. Also look back at the self scout and see the things that we did good throughout the season and see the things that we did bad as well. So I think it's a huge reflecting time and a huge reflecting moment for all of us.
There's obviously advantages and disadvantages that come with the rest. I mean, like you said, more time to recover, more time to get healthy. I think we'd be lying if we said it didn't also present the opportunity to, or not present the risk of building up rust. Seeing how Dan has coached you guys all year, I don't think that should be an issue at all. Just the way that he, has you guys working throughout the year. But what have you done throughout this time to maybe take extra steps, extra precautions to make sure that that rest doesn't build up and it's not an issue?
Yeah, just like you said, it's been extra conditioning for me. Even outside of the football or even outside of practice, I'm still out there running a little more just to get that extra conditioning. And because I know that I'm going to be one of those guys that my team needs me in the in these tough games in the fourth quarter, right? So want to make sure my endurance is all the way up, and then as well just watching extra film, whether that's catching more monarch, catching more balls on the jug machine, just keep doing the little things, right? And then as well as tackling as well. Tackling in bowl season or postseason play is something that's very critical. Like you said, people can gain up rust with going on breaks and not being so used to tackling just like they were week to week to week, right? So that's what I've been doing, and then as well just watching the extra film, making sure I'm doing the extra 1 or 2%, to push myself to lead my team to where we want to go.
I assume you guys are practicing inside quite a bit more now, getting used to that warmer weather. What's that been like? Has that been enjoyable for you?
Yeah, it's been enjoyable for sure. To finally use the Mo, day in day out. Usually we're only in there, twice a week, but it's been great. Always being in the Mo. It's everybody's. Obviously, it's only one field, right? So having the whole team, together, feeling the energy. Obviously, with when the music's blasting or the crowd noise is blasting, it's very loud in there, right? So just preparing for those environments and like you said, that warm weather.
I want to go back a couple of weeks to the Washington game. I was actually standing right behind you after the game when you were kind of taking it all in. It seemed like maybe your last time at Autzen. I got a really cool picture of you doing that.
Okay.
I'm curious now that you know that that was your final game playing inside Autzen. Has it really set in yet? I mean, you've got more college games ahead. I'm sure that's where your focus is. But has it really set in that like you won't play inside Autzen Stadium again?
Yeah, it set in, right at that moment, not even knowing that you were behind me, but right at that moment, just taking a look at, from my freshman year to playing special teams against Fresno State, my first game, all the way till now being named, a vocal piece and a key piece on the defense, right, as well as to the team now. So, yeah, just taking in all those moments of the Autzen fans running out the tunnel, being a captain, making plays in Autzen, with all the the crowd, in the environment with people storming the field earlier this season, and then as well like the bad moments in Autzen as well. Like those are memories that'll last forever, right? So, yeah, no, I'm so grateful, and I just wanted to take it in all, take it all in for one last time, and just knowing that I left a legacy here in Autzen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cool. I have a bigger picture question for you that I think I've been thinking about a lot over the last month with, recruiting and the transfer portal. Obviously, Oregon has been very successful in both recruiting and the transfer portal, but I'm curious for current players on the team, someone like you, someone like Dylan, someone like T Ferg. What are those transfer portal, those recruiting wins like for you guys? Because sometimes these are players that, I mean, you'll never play with. I mean, if you guys land someone out of the transfer portal, that's great for the team, but it's not someone you ever play with. Do you guys get excited about that, or do you even pay attention to it? What's that experience like for you?
Yeah. My focus is not fully into the recruiting for the next years, or the transfer portal, or guys that are coming in that I won't be playing with, but as well, like, you always want to be a happy alumni, right? So when you know that these coaches are going to recruit their tail off, and they're bringing in guys that are going to fill in these large shoes from the standard that you set, like you said, me guys like me, Ferg, Dylan, and then Tez, like, they got to fill in some big shoes, right? So when they're bringing in these top guys, or people in the transfer portal, like, okay, he could actually be a ball player for us, or okay, they see him, taking my role, or even being better than me, or trying to reenact how I played my game while my time was here at Oregon, right? So yeah, always want to be a happy alumni. So you'll see it here and there on Twitter and Instagram, or whatnot. But yeah.
We'll get out of here on this. What's your plan for Saturday night? Are you going to be watching the Ohio State Tennessee game with some of the guys? I know you're a big film buff. Do you plan to watch alone and dive into the X's and O's? What's the plan?
Yeah, right now the plan's just to watch the game. I was planning on watching the game by myself, kind of, sitting down, breaking down the film. Obviously, watching the game throughout the game, see how they're calling the game, or whatnot. But then, as well, just after the game, going to my iPad, and then actually breaking down the film, seeing what tendencies I can pick up, or getting a feel for the offensive coordinator if we do end up playing Tennessee, right? So yeah, just watching the game with myself, but might end up watching it with some of the guys, since I'll be watching it by myself for a while.
How much fun is that for you, diving into the film after a game and getting in? It's like a new batch of film that you get to watch on a new opponent. How much joy do you get in that process?
I take a lot of joy and a lot of pride in that. I've always been a guy that's just always enjoyed watching film, right? I think in one of my earlier interviews, I think it was earlier this year, I had said, like, when I was in high school, I used to watch like NFL film breakdowns of people just on YouTube breaking down NFL films, like, okay, when they rotate the safety, or this backer's playing this way, right? I used to just enjoy watching that, right? And so then it came to college. It came to realization, like, okay, I've already prepared myself mentally throughout my younger days of me watching football and starting to play football, that to the point where now I'm okay. When I see this, I know I can react this way if I'm seeing myself in that person's shoes on the field, right? Or just picking up on tendencies. I like to kind of resemble my film game, like Luke Kuechly. I like to be a
Mhm.
guy out there, calling plays, telling my defense, what plays they're running, or getting a jump first, even if the O line don't even know if they know the way they're blocking it, I can jump it and make the play, right? So yeah, I take a lot of pride and a lot of joy in watching the film.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you again for all your time in the bye week. I really appreciate it. Best of luck this weekend, watching a lot of film, and next weekend preparing for the Rose Bowl. I'm excited to see you down in Pasadena.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you again to Jeff Bassa for coming on, talking with us in the bye week for a few minutes. There's always some really good insight. Before we close out and in the week, I just want to touch on some recruiting news to start. Oregon got dealt a relatively tough blow earlier today when it came out that five-star wide receiver Dallas Wilson, who signed with the team in the 2025 class, is requesting a release from his paperwork with Oregon and not joining the team. He's probably going to end up going to Florida. That's the reporting, the Florida Gators, which is his hometown team. So, yeah, it's a tough blow whenever you lose a five-star kid. Definitely, you can't really sugarcoat that at all. It's not something that you want to have happen. He was the longest tenured recruit in Oregon's 2025 class. He committed back in January of 2023 and stuck it out with Oregon all the way till the end. There was some buzz on signing day that he was going to flip. He ended up signing with Oregon, so it was like, all right, the saga is over. Apparently not, because now he is requesting release and going to go to Florida in the end. So that's tough. It's not easy to replace a five-star, but if you're Oregon, this is one of the few positions where you're in a position to take this blow and move on and still succeed. I mean, this wasn't even the highest rated five-star wide receiver in Oregon's class. I mean, they still have Jacorian Moore, who's the number one wide receiver. Dallas Wilson was the number three. Not taking anything away from Dallas because he's a very talented player, someone you want on your team. But Oregon should be okay at the wide receiver position. They've got a lot of talent on the team, a lot of young talent, a lot of incoming talent. Excuse me. They should be fine. I'll be interested to see how this impacts their transfer portal movement this offseason. If this means that they do bring in a wide receiver from the portal, they were already considering it, I know, based on what Evan Stewart does, whether or not he comes back. So we'll see if there's any ramifications from this, but I don't think it's really too big of an issue for Oregon. Obviously, you want a 5-star kid, but if he doesn't want to be here, then, let him go somewhere else. These kids, they deserve to play where they want to play, and he made the decision that he wants to play somewhere else. More power to him. Best of luck in his career. Transfer portal. Oregon had a big day yesterday on Wednesday. This is Thursday. I'm recording this. Big day. They landed 2 offensive tackles. Alex Harkey from Texas State, who's the number 6 tackle in the transfer portal. And then Isaiah World from Nevada, who's the number 1 transfer portal, or number 1 tackle in the transfer portal. So huge news right off the bat before I get to the other transfer portal edition. These are likely your 2 starting tackles next year for Oregon. I think they both have 1 year of eligibility remaining. Harkey may have 2, just because of some junior college stuff that's going on behind the scenes. But it feels like these guys are going to step in and be your tackles. This also feels like it tells us, the writing is on the wall with Josh Connerly, that he's probably going to go to the NFL after this year. And you know what? If he's getting those first-round draft grades that we expect him to be getting, and that I hear he's getting, yeah, absolutely, man. The goal is to become a first-round draft pick and go to the NFL. If you've played your way into that opportunity, yeah, don't risk injury and come back to college for 1 more year. If you're just going to risk all of that. So go get your money, go further your career in the NFL. Absolutely. Congratulations to you if that's what ends up happening. The Ducks also got a transfer portal commit from Jamari Johnson from Louisville, tight end. This is a guy who almost committed to Oregon back before he committed to Louisville out of high school. Really big kid. I think I forget his exact measurables right now, but he's a big kid, very athletic, moves a lot quicker than you'd think he would at his size. He comes in and pairing him with Kenyon Sadiq is going to be impressive. I think it's going to be really fun for this offense. I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense. Those 3 additions, plus the 2 defensive back additions, Theron Johnson and Dylan Feineman, earlier in the week, Oregon's got 5 portal commits. They've got a top 10 portal class in the nation, as you would expect, and they seem to be doing well going forward. So, there's still a few places they can add someone this year, a few positions of need, which we've got. If you want to read more about all of that, we've got stuff up on Ducks Wire, so you can go find that. But things are going well in the transfer portal for sure. One last thing before we get out of here. We had that live stream opportunity with Tysheem Johnson a couple weeks back with myself and Jonathan Stewart that got canceled because the tech crashed right as we tried to go live. We're trying again to make this happen on Monday night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. We'll see if it works this time. Fingers crossed. But if you're at all interested, and I encourage you all to go out and do this, you can go get a free ticket to this, and be a part of the show. If you want to hop on the live stream, you're able to, and you can ask Tysheem and myself questions. I don't know if Jay Stu is going to be joining us. I still have to talk to him and figure out scheduling, but yeah, it should be a fun time. I hope everything goes smoothly on the back end, unlike it did last time. But I will have all information out on my Twitter account, and we'll be, pushing this forward and trying to get a lot of people to join and participate in this live stream. So it should be a good time. But yeah, that is on Monday night at 7 o'clock. All right, let's wrap it up there. You can check out more of my work at duckswire.usatoday.com. Follow me at Zachary C. Neel on Twitter, and follow my co-host Jay Stu on Twitter at JonathanStuR1. Make sure to check out the Believe in Panthers podcast and the Stu and Goop podcast as well. For myself, Zach Neel, for my co-host Jonathan Stewart, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.